Today I want to talk about a feature in Salto that allows you to restore your Jira configurations from a previous state. This is really useful in cases where an admin accidentally makes a change, even removing or deleting configurations directly in the environment. And now you can use Salto to restore those. The example today that I'm going to walk through is a use case where someone has deleted a workflow directly in production, and I'll show you how I use Salto to restore that flow. So in Salto, I'm using a feature called Monitor that allows me to monitor when changes are made directly in production to any or all configurations. In this case, I've set up a particular monitor to send me an email anytime we detect any sort of changes being made on workflows directly. So not through a Salto deployment, but directly in Jira. And I just got one of those emails, and it notified me that this specific workflow has been removed. And now let me walk you through how I can use Salto to completely restore that particular workflow. So coming back to Salto, I'm going to go to the compare and deploy stage here. If you're familiar with Salto's deployment process, this is where you can deploy changes between any two environments. And from over here, I'm going to select Restore to your previous version. And this is where I can select the version to revert back to. Now, all of these timestamps are based off of all of the fetches that are being ran automatically by Salto to pull in the latest configuration changes. These can be scheduled to run hourly, daily, weekly. These can also be ran manually at any time. So these are representing all those times that I've either scheduled a fetch or the fetches are running automatically. Now, in my case, I know that I got that email very recently, and I know that it was that, so I know I need to basically restore back to the most recent version. And when I create the deployment, Salto is going to check for all the changes basically between now and whatever time that I'm looking into in the past. And it's going to show me all the changes that we've detected. And in this case, sure enough, I see that a workflow was removed, which is why it's prompting me to restore that workflow. And I can go ahead and add this. Now, one thing to note is that it also detects that someone removed the status, which this workflow is using. So I can go ahead and select that status, preview deployment, and now it's going to work like any other deployment in Salto. It's going to deploy those changes to your target environment. The deployment preview process has done. I can go ahead and deploy these changes. And after this deployment completes, I'll see a review of the deployment, what exactly was deployed, and now I've got a history of that deployment, in this case reverting or restoring that change, right here in Salto. So if I come back to the compare and deploy history, as soon as the sync is done, it's going to show up under the history. Here it is right here. So I can always go back and take a look at the deployment that was done to restore this environment. So that's a really quick example about how you can use Salto to restore changes, restore your environment, and quickly revert changes. And this feature is already available in your Salto account. All you need to do is connect and fetch, and Salto will take those scheduled fetches and allow you to restore back to any of the fetches.